This is Small Talk with 101 ESPN's Michelle Smallman.
What's up, people? Episode 153 of Small Talk is here. Steve Ceruti and Michelle Smallman in the house. And Ceruti and I are so excited about this episode because we have one of our favorites coming on the show. We have an awesome interview with Murphy Lee. Yes, you know him, Saint Lunatic, rapper, one of the most underrated rappers of all time. Actually, I think he's been getting a lot of love lately, and he has a new album out, and he's going to join Steve and I to talk about it.
I always loved Murphy Lee. Before I knew you and that like St. Louis rap scene blew up when I was in high school, Nelly Country Grammar came out. I was super pumped. I was like, this album is different. It's fire. It was kind of like the first rap album that I don't want to say connected with, because I don't know like if I had much in common with them, but I just loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. Everybody.
I'm sorry. I have to interject because I absolutely love young Steve connecting with a group of guys from University City, Missouri, and being like, yes, I identify with you guys talking about Missouri all the time.
Well, it's strange because, I didn't really know like what rap scenes were back then. It was kind of my first introduction to music, right? And, the LA scene, the New York scene, you get Jay-Z, right, Tupac, Biggie in New York, West Coast rap with, like The Game and Dr. Dre, all that stuff. And then I was like, oh, St. Louis, like, okay, sure. St. Louis is the scene here. I didn't know that that was like a weird breakthrough thing. Like it wasn't like the norm. So all those guys, Nelly, Murphy Lee, the Lunatics, it was great. But I'm with you. I always thought Murphy Lee was super underrated. What that hook gonna be? Shake your tail feather. Like whenever he was like a collab with anybody on any song, he was great. So super, super pumped. 13-year-old me would be losing his mind right now. I'm losing my mind as 33. How old am I? 32-year-old Steve. So here we are.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to Murphy Lee. It's going to be awesome. Steve, let's catch up. It's been a while.
Yeah, what's up?
So before I ask what you've been up to, I would like to share something with you.
I know you had a big trip.
Yeah, it's a little more of a confession because we know my hatred for the NFL. We know that I'm not a fan. But for Christmas this year, I got my dad tickets to Packers Steelers at Lambeau, and we went last weekend.
Is he a fan of either team?
No.
He's just like a sports guy. That's a cool bucket list thing. He's just a sports
guy. Yep. And it's a bucket list thing.
It's a great gift.
And it's an easy trip for us in St. Louis. And we know someone that works for the Packers. Shout out to Chad, who was amazing and able to get us tickets. Shout out to Chad. He was so cool. He had a great tailgate for us to go to. Got us awesome seats for the game. It was amazing. That was the first NFL game I had been to outside of the Super Bowl that I covered since the Rams left St. Louis. And it was such an amazing experience. And it really made me miss football. I'm just going to be totally transparent. The parallels between the way the Packers or the way Green Bay feels about the Packers reminded me so much about the way St. Louis feels about the Cardinals. Everybody there was so welcoming. They were so invested into their team, into the game, into the ritual of the game day experience. And we couldn't have had a better time. And I'm bummed out that that's something that I'm never really going to have again.
Well, what I was going to say to you is that the Rams experience in St. Louis probably is not what the Green Bay. There's going to be a lot of St. Louis love on this pod. So I feel like I can at least be real here. I'm not sure that the St. Louis Rams experience probably, there are many experiences that probably match up with there might not be any in the NFL that match up with the Green Bay Packers experience, because, the club is owned by like the fans essentially, right? It's not in a major market by any means. It's almost like a college town experience, really.
It is.
And it's a place I've always wanted to go. It's one of those, it's one of those bucket list places for sure, where it's just like, wow, this place is like almost like a legend. It's like the Field of Dreams thing, but it's a real place.
It's like hallowed ground in sports, right? It's like the holy grail if you're a football fan. And gosh, there's so much to unpack here. But a couple things I'm going to rattle off quickly. The Packers Hall of Fame is unbelievable. If you go to Lambeau, take the time, get there early to go inside and go to the Packers Hall of Fame. Hot take. I thought the Packers Hall of Fame was better than the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton.
Oh.
I thought it was set up better. I thought they had better exhibits. I thought it was more interactive. I thought that their bronze footballs for the Hall of Famers, not quite the bust, but it was just as cool for me. They had it was just amazing. I don't want to waste a lot of time on it because a lot of people probably don't care, but it was amazing. And Steve, from the second we got there, we got on the plane, we flew there on Sunday morning. The entire plane was Packers and Steelers fans, the entire plane. And one woman that was sitting in front of me was a Steelers fan that flew there from Montana just for this game. The guy behind her and his wife, Packers fans who came in from out of town, they started a Go Pack Go chant on the plane. The Steelers woman turns around and was like, "Ooh, you suck. Like, who do you think you are?" And he's like, I own the team. I'm an owner. And I was actually, he does. You are an owner. But I just,
what a flex.
I was a total flex. But from the second we landed there, everything there is about the Packers. And it reminded me of St. Louis too. And I think a lot of places are like this, but they know how special it is, how special this experience is. So everybody that you encounter want to make sure that you have a good time. So like we got invited to this tailgate and it was like, here's a brat, here's a beer, here's some cheese curds, like settle in, have a great time. Isn't this so fun? We're playing catch with the football. And I also kind of wish you were there to experience it, not only because it was so cool, but because you, Steve, are such a Wisconsin guy because of your experience.
Big Madison guy. I don't Green Bay. I've never been. Heard good things about Milwaukee, but I Madison. Like, how is Green Bay different than Madison? Like, obviously Green Bay is not a college town. I mean, I'm sure there is a college. There are colleges in Green Bay, right? But I don't know. It just seems odd to me that it's always seemed odd to me that this football team was in this like random ass city, quote unquote. That if you were starting 32 teams in the NFL now, there's no way you put a team in Green Bay, but it works perfectly. And then it's odd that you went, it's not odd, I guess it's interesting that you went to a game against the Steelers too, because the Packers and the Steelers, like top five, we're talking like travel fan bases, right? It's Cowboys, the Packers and the Steelers might be the top three actually. So that was going to be a charged up game no matter what, because both fan bases are so intense and so widespread. But I have to get to Green Bay, but let's go easy calling it Madison just too soon.
I would tell you, Steve, that Green Bay is the varsity version of Madison. So Madison is like the JV squad. Okay. It's the same vibe. It's the same environment. It's just on a professional level. So I highly recommend, if you get the chance, anyone out there, go to Lambeau. You will not regret it. It's one of the best sports environments ever, obviously, and you're going to have a guaranteed great time. Okay, so that's what I've been up to, Steve. What have you been up to?
I almost lost it and panicked because I'm an idiot and I'm going on a trip to Tulum. I'm now officially going on a trip to Tulum. Haven't been on vacation in a while, and Maddie and I are excited. It's our third wedding anniversary and her 30th birthday. So what's up? But totally forgot, and this will be a cautionary tale for anyone else out there who's going to be as stupid as me to do something like this. I forgot that my passport expired about 3 weeks before we were supposed to go to Mexico.
Oh no, Steve.
And I start looking up stuff, and like it's a big trip, like as I said, their anniversary, their birthday, there's some things going on. It's not really about me. It is about me, but it's it's a lot of Maddie in there as well. So I was like, great, did I ruin this trip?
Right?
Some of it, not all of it, but like it would be more about losing out on the experience. For sure. So I Google like, okay, well, it's the quickest I can get a passport. I figured I could just go somewhere and get it. Like, all right, it's fine. Nope. I Googled, it's usually like 12 weeks. And because of COVID, it was like 18 weeks. So I'm sitting there sweating bullets going, shit, I just ruined our vacation. Sick. Maddie's going to be super pumped about this. So for about 24 hours, we were like, well, I guess we got to book another trip or something, or cancel this one and figure it out. Turns out I ended up finding this sketchy guy online, but turns out Dave was actually not sketchy. Shout out to my guy, Dave at Fast Passport. He hooked me up and got me a passport in a week. And I sent him all these forms. I sent him my old expired passport. And, it was funny. I was telling the story to my friends. So you sent all this information to some guy that you found on the internet. I was like, yeah, basically. I know it sounds kind of sketchy, but my guy Dave came through and I have a passport and we are officially leaving Tuesday. So all things ended well, but there was like a good week or so, week and a half where I was like, great, I ruined this awesome trip that we've been talking about for months now. Good times.
I have to ask you a tough question here, Steve. Are we sure the passport is real? Are we sure
it is 100% real? I got it from the federal government. The federal government sends it to you. So, but there were some sketchy moments along the way because I was like, oh, can I get an update on like when this thing's going to come? And he's like, well, I don't really know because like the government just sends it and they don't give us any tracking information. I'm like, cool. Shit, did I just fuck up? I probably just fucked up. But no, again, Dave, my guy, came through in the clutch and excited to go on the beach and I guess hang out for a week and not have to think about work.
I was in Tulum not that long ago, and I can tell you that you're going to have an amazing time. If you can, go to Heartwood, best restaurant, go to Arca, another great restaurant. But the thing that I loved about Tulum, Stephen, you're going to really laugh when I tell you this, is that it's such a vibe. I know that sounds so dumb, and it probably is. But you fly into Cancun, you drive for like 2 hours, you get there. It's like one road that's like one side in, one side out. And it's just all these boutiques and restaurants on this essentially dirt road, and one side is on the jungle and one side is on the beach, and all you do is chill. That's all you do. There's nothing touristy to see. Well, I guess you could go to
some ruins. I'm interested in the history aspect of it, because I'm not the guy that sits his ass on the beach all week and just, that's my day for 10 hours. I can't do that. I'd lose my mind. So we got a tequila tasting, we got some hiking.
Look at you.
Yeah, I'll be on the mezcal life, no big deal. The cenotes we have heard about. There's a lot of good restaurants there. Like around, like you, Ryan, one of my bosses, like a lot of people have been to Tulum in the last few years. So I guess it's a hot spot. So we've gotten a lot of good recommendations, but it'll be good to just get away. But I'm just pumped that I didn't ruin the vacation. And that's honestly, that's like the high of going on the vacation. It's almost as good that I just got my passport to go. That's how good it feels.
I feel like we should shout out your guy one more time before.
Shout out my guy, Dave. Yeah. Free passport, I think, .com. So, or fastpassport.com. No, it was not free. But we made it and we're pumped. So appreciate my guy helping me out.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I hate to cut you short because I really want to hear more about your passport situation and what you're planning.
We'll have more stuff when I get back. We'll do it when I get back.
That's what I was thinking, but we have to get to Murphy Lee. We are so excited to talk to him. He's one of our favorite rappers, one of the best rappers in the game, has an incredibly long and successful career, and his new album, Second Time Around, has just dropped. So we're going to talk to Murphy Lee about that coming up next. Well, this week, Steve and I are so thrilled to welcome in our guest. He is one of our personal favorites. You know him, you love him. It's Murphy Lee. Murph, first of all, thanks. Yeah, thanks for joining us. And you're obviously wearing the Cardinals jersey. So I've got to ask you first and foremost how you're dealing with that tough loss from last night.
Hey, it was a rough one, man, but it was a good year. So I'm cool with it, man. That's how it's dealt. I'd rather lose to LA than San Francisco.
Oh, really? You'd rather lose in a one-game playoff than go to the NLDS?
Yeah, I don't waste nobody's time.
I love that. Okay, well, we're going to talk a lot about your new album that you have out called Second Time Around. I want to start there, though. What was the inspiration behind this album? How did you get started creating this project?
I've been creating it for a second. I had a few records, and then I finally figured out the route I wanted to go. So I put it all together, man. But it's actually what I've been rapping for professionally for 21 years, and I've been rapping for another 9, almost 30 years of information on one album here. You know what I'm saying? So I've just been trying to just find my lane and blend it all together. And we came up with this good project called Second Time Around.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed, almost pretty much all of your catalog, Murphy. I'm interested to know, though, as a guy who I grew up listening to you, like What That Hook Gonna Be was like on the car with my boys. We just put everybody in a great mood, right? And as I've kind of gotten older, like the rap game has changed, the sound has sort of changed. I'm interested, what are there guys now that you like? Do you like the way that like the rap game is sort of like the direction it's gone in, the sounds? Because I feel like I'm listening to more nostalgic stuff. I'll go back and listen to you, the Lunatics, Nelly, everybody from back, growing up. But do you like the new kind of age rap? Do you like sort of like, these new guys coming up, or are there any like individual guys that you like specifically?
I think it's a time and a place for everything. You know what I'm saying? I think some stuff is for, late night when you're having a nice little tipsy or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But some stuff need to be like for the rest of the 23, you know what I'm saying? The rest of the 20 hours in a day, So I choose that lane where, you know what I'm saying? You can ride to my music, you can clean up the house, you can family reunions, gatherings, wherever you're doing, you can do it. You don't have to be just the club or just when you go out to a happy hour. So, but I love the music, man. Times change. You got to adapt to it and all that. But I think certain music is for certain people. You know what I'm saying? I think it's enough music out there and enough humans to be able to, spread it all around. So with the streaming service and the Google and all that stuff, I think you're able to go listen to whatever you want to in life. You know what I'm saying? You can go back to the beginnings of times, or you can listen to something brand new. And I think that's dope. So I think now you have a choice. So I think we just got to do more searching for stuff we do like, you know what I'm saying? If you're not satisfied with what we hear major, you know what I'm saying? Like the majority here right now, it's a lot of artists that come out and drop albums just like I did and be having great content, great music, great different styles. They don't just do what everybody else is doing. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta start digging a little bit for it, but it's out there.
Do you feel like it's easier or harder now, Murphy? Like like if you were coming up now, do you feel like you would have an easier like route, or like do you feel like it was harder back then? Like, what do you think?
No, it's definitely easier now because then you had to depend on somebody that puts you somewhere in some position. Now you can just do it yourself. It's it's just you and the fan versus the world. So just find you some fans, man, and keep it going. Somebody's gonna like it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the search for new artists is just locate some fans.
For sure. And I want to roll it back to when you and Nelly and the Lunatics first came on the map, because I've been listening to you since the jump, obviously a girl born and raised in St. Louis. And sometimes I'll be listening to you, I'll be in the car or out on a run, and I'll think, gosh, I can't even imagine what that would be like to one day just be somebody from St. Louis making music, doing what I love, and then boom, I'm a global superstar. So when you guys first came onto the map, can you tell me how quickly you guys found success?
It took us 9 years to even get a real recognition. So I say 9 years, but at the same time, once we got there, we went 0 to 60 favorites. We looked up, we was going in front of a few clubs, and next thing you know, we were doing festivals.
Yeah, it feels like as soon as the music dropped and it got into the consciousness of everybody that you guys were just a rocket ship after that.
Yeah, it took maybe about a year and a half, but that it rocketed. It went to some places where no rap artists or hip hop artists would ever be able to go sometimes. So yeah.
Do you have a favorite moment sort of like in that rise? Like Country Grammar comes out, Murphy's Law comes out, you guys are everywhere, you guys are doing like promos for Bad Boys. Like did you have a favorite moment when you're just like, holy shit, I made it, like this is so cool? Like was there something that clicked ever for you?
Maybe the Shake Your Tail Feather video shoot.
Yeah.
At the beginning of it, that we were shooting the intro scene of that, and we was at the thing, and they were trying to give me like a cigar, but I'm 20 years old, 21 years. I don't know. I don't want
that your first one?
Cigar. Yeah. I didn't even light it. I was about to split it open. But I didn't know what was going on. So I just, you can see at the beginning of the video, I'm just playing with it, looking at it like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? They talking grown folk stuff. And it was just like, I think after that scene, the next scene, I realized where I was at.
Yeah.
I said, oh, okay, I'm Murphy Lee.
Yeah, you fit right in. There you go.
Hey, and this is my song. Like, that's what I'm on. Like, hold on, that's Puff and Nelly, and what I'm saying? Let me get myself together. You know what I'm saying? Like, Lil X is on the video set. Everybody's there. Beanie Boone is like, man, it's retarded, man. So it was like we was in a great space, and I had to realize. So by the time we got to the end of the video, which is because it's kind of shot in the order that you see it. So by the time you see us in like white suits and all dressed up and all that, I felt like I was, I arrived.
That's amazing. What was it like to go on this ride with people that you know from home? I mean, it has to be amazing to watch your dreams happen in real time, but to do it with people that you trust and that you care about and that you have history with, that had to be so rare and so special.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to be a group anyway. So like, it was just cool to be able to do that with people that you was down hard with. I know for a fact what we was doing before we got on. So to see it just transition and how everybody, transition into that person they have to be, it was a fun moment, man.
I'm sure. And, everybody from St. Louis, Steve's from Connecticut, and he can attest to this. We ride so hard for our city. I don't think there's anywhere else in the country that really has to kind of take on this us against the world mentality the way that St. Louis doesn't. And maybe that's because we're misrepresented a lot. But did you ever feel pressure to represent St. Louis? Because you and the Lunatics and Nelly, you put St. Louis on the map from a rap perspective. You changed the game musically for our city. And to have that be so linked to your identity, did you ever feel pressure in that sense?
Probably felt pressure on far as like making sure we do the right things for the city. You know what I'm saying? Like it was being young, I got in the game when I was 19 years old, 20 years old. So what do you expect from me at times? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what to do, but at the same time, I never felt that pressure because we were so naturally St. Louis. When I say I'm so St. Louis, I really mean it. Like, that just came with us. Yeah. It just came with us. You know what I'm saying? It never was like all right, let's represent St. Louis more. Wear more St. Louis hats. You know what I'm saying? Never was that because my closet is full of nothing but St. Louis hats. I refuse to wear another hat. You know what I'm saying? Like, so my gear, I never wore another jersey besides Cardinals. I'm not gonna wear another baseball team. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just was like that. We start wearing throwback jerseys and things of that nature. But other than that, it was so St. Louis. We had the Rams, so it was like it was too easy to represent because we was already St. Louis, and we took it everywhere we went.
You've obviously worked with so many, other iconic rappers and hip hop artists. And like those songs are often some of the best, right? Where everyone gets a verse and it's get going. It's a great party. It's an awesome atmosphere. Like you've worked, P. Diddy, Snoop Dogg, Jermaine Dupri, obviously Nelly and the St. Lunatics back in the day. Did you have a favorite person that you collabed with that you were just like, I don't know if it was Snoop Dogg or somebody that you're like, I don't know, I vibe with them and I was so pumped to do a song with them?
Ticks. The Lunatics, when we get in the studio, all five, all together, everybody, my God. That's like magic. You know what I'm saying? Working with Jazzy Faye is amazing too. One of the coldest producers of all times. He an artist too as well. He's probably a better artist. He don't even know it. Like he's just his energy does something. JD too. Jermaine Dupri's the same way.
Yep.
But I love like working with like the Ticks and like our producers like J.E. and Coco and Sag Live and you know what I'm saying, Wally. Things of that nature before I, that's why I really enjoy it.
We've kind of talked a lot about everything that you've done throughout your career. You just talked about people you like collaborating with. We talked about the Shake Your Tail Feather video, all the success you've had with the St. Lunatics. Is there one thing you've done in your career that you're the most proud of?
Being in the industry and not scared to claim my family, my spouse and my kids and like taking them with me instead of trying to hide them from what's going on. I actually like raise them into this world a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm from St. Louis, so I'm not like, we're not the big Hollywood guys. So we always down home, you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of easy. So I'm not, we're not on, we're not on, I can't even think. We're not on Wilshire Boulevard every day. You know what I'm saying? So we're allowed to, be sort of what you would call normal. So I get to raise my children and my wife is just amazing and things of that nature where when we came up, you were supposed to keep that a secret. You know what I'm saying? You were supposed to say you're single so you won't, disappoint your lady fans and all that. But actually, when I brought them in, now all my lady fans are fans of my wife or fans of my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it did the opposite. So I love that part of it.
I think that's an amazing answer, and you're true to you, right? And I think that's what is so amazing about everything that you've talked about, whether it's representing St. Louis or bringing your family along for the ride. I think part of the reason you've had such great success is because of your talent, but you've also always stayed so true to yourself, which I love. But everyone needs to follow Murphy Lee. If you haven't already, why are you not following Murphy Lee on Instagram at Murph Dirty? Second Time Around is the album. It's available now. And Murph, I am just going to encourage everybody to follow you on Instagram. I know the link to the album is right there in your Instagram bio. But is there anything else that you want to share about the album or anything else you want to direct people to check out?
If you ever liked the Lunatic record or ever liked Murphy Lee or ever wore a St. Louis hat or ever in your life put on a jersey or wore your clothes too big just because you thought it was cool or anything of that nature, and if you just love music on a daily basis, man, this album is for you. Go to the link in my bio, or you can go to store.newmurph.com and you can get that thing right now. I'm not doing it the traditional way, so come on home. And this is going to be a trailblazer for a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of artists. And I think everybody need to hear this album too, by the way. And you can text me too. I got a number 314-408-TICS, TICS, 314-408-TICS. That's 8427. Text me, leave your name so we can rap from there. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, you get the exclusives, you get all stuff first, man. And that's what it is.
Man of the people. There you go.
I love it. And I know you also did a collab with Apparel. You've got a lot on your plate right now.
Yeah, shout out to Apparel, man. One of the greatest companies of all time, man. I really mess with them. I seen them before they even, took to the status that they at now. And I love this new store out in Ballpark Village. But yeah, we did a deal with them, and we have some clothes out there, man. So go check it out.
Absolutely. Murphy Lee, one of the greatest of all time. Thanks for taking the time to hang out with us. We love chatting with you.
Appreciate it. Shout out to the Cardinals, man. Y'all did well.
Thanks,
awesome.
Man.
Well, Steve, I have interviewed Murphy Lee before. You know my love for Murph Dirty and the Lunatics, but that had to be very cool for you. I know you were a big fan.
I was telling you beforehand, and I didn't want to, it's not one of those things where you go, I don't want to tell Murphy, hey, when I was growing up, like you were the shit, and make him feel old or whatever, even though I'm old now too. We're all old. This is where we're at. Right. And I know sometimes that's weird. I remember when I talked to T.I. when he came in, you were around at ESPN when he came in. I was like, man, I grew up listening. That's right. So did Rick Ross, didn't he? Oh yeah. The rappers going for the real thing.
Weird. Yeah. I got a lot of hugs from rappers at ESPN.
I mean, I'm not terribly surprised by that. I'm just going to leave it at that. But it is what it is.
Hey. Two fun facts about that. One, I was wearing like a bunch of pins on my jacket, and one of them was a pineapple pin. T.I. hugged me and was like, "Aloha, are you Hawaiian?" And I was like, "No, I just like this pineapple pin." I later learned what pineapples mean or what they stand for. Did you know this?
I don't think so. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I guess pineapples are like a symbol for swingers. So if you see someone with like a pineapple knocker on their house or like a pineapple mat on their door, it's like a signal that they're swingers.
Oh, so Rick Ross is like this girl.
No, T.I.
I'm sorry, T.I. It's like this chick. What's up?
He was like, "Are you Hawaiian?" I was like, "No,
that's amazing.
From St. Louis." And then Rick Ross had on this unbelievable necklace. It was like a teardrop with a diamond teardrop like this big. And I had this very lame fading faux gold chain from J. Crew on, and Rick Ross was like, "I like your chain," and I was like, "I like yours. Want to trade?" He was like, "No, I absolutely do not." But I had to shoot my shot. But those are my two rapper stories. But Murphy Lee is not only one of the most talented rappers ever. I mean, one thing that we didn't ask him, and I wish I would have, is during the pandemic, I remember one day Murphy Lee was trending, and I was like, "What's going on with Murphy Lee?" So I clicked him, and it was just people online giving him praise and giving him his flowers and just saying, who doesn't get enough love for their talent is Murphy Lee. And I just think he is so amazing, and his music has such longevity. It doesn't matter when songs like Shake Your Tail Feather drop. You could turn it on the radio right now and still get so high from it. It's amazing.
I've maintained this. I love Country Grammar, the album, Nelly. What was that, 2000, I believe it came out? 2001. Yeah. And then this is somewhat controversial. Like I didn't love like kind of everything from Nelly after that. And I actually think I of all those like St. Louis guys, like Murphy Lee was my guy. I mean, what that hook gonna be when that came on, and that's what's funny you bring up T.I. and that, because I would say What You Know by T.I. and What That Hook Gonna Be by Murphy Lee were like two of my staple high school songs that I'm in my 94 Jeep Grand Cherokee. That thing is beat to shit, but I'm just like blasting the speakers out of my car, and it instantly puts you in a good mood. Both of those songs are so freaking good to ride to in the car and feel good. Just kind of feel like a badass. And then, Shake Your Tail Feather, great. He did a collab, Salt Shaker with the Yin Yang Twins. Like he's just been, and that's why I asked him about the collab thing, because he's just, he's working with a lot of really cool people. Welcome to Atlanta, which, the St. Louis version. I always just loved Murphy Lee. I thought he was like criminally underrated as a rapper during that time period. And, obviously excited about the new album as well, but he's just one of those guys where I always thought he was just criminally underrated. I love his music.
I also love his answer about representing St. Louis, because I think people who meet people who aren't from St. Louis are like, "Why do you guys love your city so much?" It's like an average American
people like
city.
Me, people like, "Hey, settle down." Yeah, exactly.
People are like, what is the deal? And then, for me to have you interview someone else who's from St. Louis and see that it's not just me and it's not just him, it's literally our city as a collective. And it's never when you're growing up, people like, "You need to ride for St. Louis. Tell everyone how great this is." That is not the case. It's just something inherently, the civic pride and this love for our city that we have inside of us. And we want to represent St. Louis all the time and tell everyone how great it is. And I don't know, just for you to hear him describe that, I was like, yes, thank you.
Yeah. But I mean, we've talked about this, I think, before, about the which music video was it? Was the Country Grammar music video where it's just like people from St. Louis? Like there aren't any like, they didn't hire like these, I don't think they hired like these models. They're just like people from St. Louis, like it was kind of awesome because like it's like a real grassroots effort from the Lou.
It's with the Rams flag in the background, the guy with the iguana. They're just a block party. That was when they were new on the scene. They graduated from that point. I'm sure they were doing big. When he was talking about the Shake Your Tail Feather music video, it was a little bit bigger production than I had imagined the initial one. And rightfully so, but no, it was really cool to see that and like how genuine it was coming from him. And I don't know if it's a St. Louis thing. I guess I will say it's because I know you. So like I think you ride for your city more than anyone I know rides for their city. Like Van Pelt was always a big like DC, like the Beltway kind of guy, but he doesn't ride for the area as much as you do. And I don't know if it's a St. Louis thing or just because I know you well, but yeah, you people, everyone that I know that's ever been from St. Louis knows everyone else who is either from St. Louis or has some connection. Like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon is 6 degrees of St. Louis for the St. Louis people. Yeah, the first time that I was at ESPN, I was like, where's Taylor Twellman? I had never met Taylor Twellman, but I was like, St. Well guy, I got to find him. We're going to be simpatico. And sure enough, I introduced myself.
BFFs, there you go.
I'm like, I'm from St. Louis. He's like, what's up, girl? Come on in.
Yeah. Well, by the way, how about the line, I think the best line in the entire interview was when he got handed the cigar and didn't really know what to do with it at age 20 and he cuts it open. That's so freaking funny. Because at the same, I never smoked a cigar. I'm still not even a cigar guy, but like just the amount of crazy shit that they must have seen at such a young age because they blew up overnight. And as you mentioned, like it was like 9 years of work to get to that point, which is really cool to see it kind of pay off. And all of a sudden, boom, you're famous internationally. That's just got to be super weird, hard to deal with. But obviously, there was a lot of hard work that went into that, and they gave us some great music growing up.
Okay, Steve, should we do a little A+ content considering second time around Murphy Lee's new album, which you definitely should download.
A+ content, yep.
Definitely A+ content. As he mentioned, if you ever liked the Lunatics, if you ever liked Murphy Lee or anything they've done, you're going to love this album. It's under the way that I can tell everyone, the easiest way is go follow Murphy Lee at Murph Dirty. Click the link in his bio. He's got a link tree. It's going to take you to all the different projects, but the second time around is right at the top. So be sure to click on that. But Steve, I will give you the floor. We haven't talked in 2 weeks. Give me some A+ content, bud.
All right, I got 2 things. One is a show and one is an album. Why don't you want to go every other? Want to do that? How many do you have?
Sure. All right. I have two.
No surprise to anyone. And I'm going to loop in intern John here because he was the one that asked me about this as well. New Third Eye Blind album is out. And let me just tell you, it's called Our Band Apart. It is a good album. From their standards, it's not an A+. I know this is A+ content. It's not an A+. It's probably a solid B+. I got to give it a couple of listens like again in the future, but I do like it a lot. And the one thing that I always say about Third Eye Blind is they just know who they are. They don't change. Their songs that came out, that this album came out, obviously year 2001, could have come out in 1999. They're the same. And that's kind of what I love about it is that they know their tune and they play it well and they do their thing. So it's a really good album. Wasn't as good as the last one, which was called Screamer, which I thought was one of their best albums, no lie. But everyone should give this check it out. They've got Dust Storm's a great song. The first actually probably 3-4 songs in the album are very, very good. And it's just always amazing to me that these bands that have been around for 20 plus years keep putting out bangers. So shouts out to Third Eye Blind. I know you're super pumped about that, Michelle.
And that's talking Third Eye Blind here on Small Talk.
I have to meet a quota per month to talk about Third Eye Blind. But again, this is intern John's fault because he's the one that brought it up. He asked me how I felt about it.
Okay. We'll allow it. But we
got to get intern John back on, by the way. We'll get him on maybe next pod to check in. It's been too long.
But you can check out his Shell Talk blog at smalltalkpod.com.
Definitely.
It's amazing every week. He's such a talented writer, so be sure to check that out. And every week after we wrap, Steve and I are like, oh my God, we need to have John back on the show. But, we forget.
We'll do it next time, I promise.
Okay, so Steve, my first thing from A+ content is an amazing book I'm reading called Stealing Fire. Let me Google it quickly so that I can.
Stealing Fire, it sounds like, is that like a sequel to...
No, it is not a Dan Brown book. It is
not Dan Brown. I was going to say, is it a sequel to Catching Fire? What the hell is that? Hunger Games. That's what I'm thinking of.
It's not. It's far better than that. So it's by Stephen Coulter and Jamie Wheel, the New York Times bestselling authors of The Rise of Superman. And I'm just going to read you the front cover.
Okay.
Stealing Fire, how Silicon Valley, the Navy SEALs, and maverick scientists are revolutionizing the way we live and work. And so it's basically talking about this concept, and we can dive deeper into this in another pod, called ecstasis or flow, where you are so locked in mentally at what you're doing that you literally are in a flow and you get to another plane mentally. Some good examples.
In the zone. Some would say.
A lot call it flow, stasis, whatever you want to call it. So like, for instance, the Navy SEALs, if they're going to capture Saddam Hussein and they're living in the mountains in, some deserted area, and they have to capture him in the middle of the night, and there's 6 of them. This is an example that they give. They're trained at such an expert level, and they're so locked in mentally that the 6 of them can move as one collective, as one organism without speaking a word. It's like they can anticipate one another's decision makings and their movements. Or another example is when people are coding and they can just go on like a coding tangent for like 24 hours.
If you've ever seen The Social Network, which is a great, that's A+ content, by the way. They'll always be they're in the zone. They tell them, don't disturb this guy's coding. He's been coding for like 6 straight hours.
But then the interesting part of this is it's not just about the concept of ecstasis or flow. It's about how people who are at the peak of their professions are actively trying to unlock themselves mentally and get to that place. And a lot of them are doing that with drugs. They're microdosing mushrooms, or they're going on trips. Like there's a really interesting story about how the CEO of Google, his interview was going to Burning Man. And they wanted to see how he operated at a place like Burning Man, and how doing mushrooms can impact your brain in a way that unlocks things from a creativity standpoint. Anyway, it's very fascinating, and you would be shocked at how many people in corporate America are doing things like this and trying to seek out a different level mentally.
Sounds interesting. I like mentally stimulating things like that, and the idea that you could be, like, again, as I said, in the zone and like in this like higher level of performance in some way. And drugs, it's almost like that, that like, what is the book and show and the movie Limitless, where that guy takes a pill and he's all of a sudden like the best version of himself. I just always find that concept super, super cool. So maybe I'll have to check it out. You never know.
Well, you would love it, Steve, because it traces all of this stuff back to like Greek and Roman times, and all of these secret rituals that they used to have, and like substances that they would do in like at the sake of rituals, and how they say a lot of the philosophical,
like holistic
notions,
medicine, you're saying, like stuff like herbs and oils.
It was like I forget the word, but it was some sort of not a serum. What am I thinking of? Basically a drink,
a potion?
A potion or something like that. There's a word for it that I'm forgetting, because I'm like so past that part in the book. But basically they would do these super, super secret drug fueled rituals where guys like Plato and whomever would get down there, and they would get to this other level. And you got certain things from science from these parties, and you got philosophical notions because their brains were able to process things on a different level. And that so many people throughout history have tried to figure out what the substance was that they were drinking back then, and they haven't been able to pinpoint it.
The history aspect of that I like a lot. I haven't been on a good book kick recently, but I am, as I mentioned earlier, going to Tulum, and I'm going to try to read Dune, which is right behind me because the movie's coming out as well. And I love sci-fi bullshit. So that could potentially be on A+ content in the future for me, although it's like the book's been around since the 60s. So it's not like I'm presenting some new thing to you. You probably already know about it. But off of that, in that same vein, you ever heard of Dune? Oh, there's like a million. It's like I would say it's Lord of the Rings, like that, there was the Tolkien books, right? Like Dune is up there as far as one of the greatest sci-fi novels of all time, like fantasy novels of all time.
Sounds sick.
It's right up your alley. So you definitely would love that. This, I don't know if you'd like, but have you ever heard of the show called Midnight Mass? It's on Netflix.
No, but I love a good midnight mass at Christmas Eve.
Okay, I'm going to start this by saying I don't think you would particularly like this show, but I loved it. It is, The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor. They have come out every year by the same guy. It's like an anthology series. They're very good. It's by the same creator. So it's not really like those two shows kind of were connected in certain ways. Not like they had different characters, but they had similar sort of themes and stories. This is by the same guy who created those shows. And those shows are great, by the way. You should watch them, especially around Halloween time. But the show Midnight Mass is about this like random, basically, it's a secluded island essentially, and they don't ever really say where. I assume it was like probably off the coast of like Washington or something. I don't know. I'm sure somebody will look it up and tell me I'm wrong. But it's a secluded like fishing island with like a couple hundred people population wise, and this like mysterious sort of priest comes to take over their parish. And all of a sudden, all this weird shit starts happening. And it has to do with religion. It has to do, I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to get too far because there is like a kind of a big twist early on in the show that takes you in a weird direction. But if you like weird shit, religious fantasy, stuff like that, if you probably have liked Dune, you're going to like this show. 7 episodes, hour each. I binge watched it in like 3 days. Awesome show. Really, really cool. There's a lot of blood, so I don't know if you would like it. Maddie definitely did not. I knew immediately she wasn't going to like it. But if you're into that sort of stuff, phenomenal show. I think it has like a 9.0 or something on IMDb, which I trust very much. So check it out. Really cool show, especially on Halloween.
Okay, I have one more thing for you, and I definitely won't be checking that out, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah. But for people who also aren't interested in the one Steve just talked about, I couldn't sleep the other night, and someone had recommended this to me. I watched this documentary on Amazon Prime called, I watched episode 1, and I was very into it. I can't, now that baseball is over for me.
You're free, yeah.
We don't need to get into that. Also, I love Murphy Lee being like, I don't want to waste anybody's time. I'm glad. I respect
that, honestly. Yeah. If I don't think my team's going to win it, what's the point of a playoff run that I know is going to end in disappointment? So, yeah.
So I watched this episode 1 of this docuseries called Lula Rich. And it's about LuLaRoe, which is some leggings company that was a pyramid scheme that all of these housewives and stay-at-home moms, they paid $5 to $10 grand to this leggings company to get all of these leggings that they had to sell at these pop-up parties or on Facebook Live or whatever. And it's basically about why stay-at-home moms are such a target for these pyramid schemes and how the rise of social media has convinced these women that this is a solution for what I think is kind of a big issue for a lot of women, where they are educated. Well, they're educated. They likely have had careers before they choose to stay at home and care for their family, and there is probably something there where they're not making as much money, and they might have some part of them, even though they love being a mother, that feels unfulfilled. And so if you have a cosmetics company that will not be named, or like a supplements company that will not be named, or candles or oils or leggings that are frankly very heinous and have like disgusting patterns, but they're like, hey, you can stay at home with your kids, you're going to make a lot of money, and you can do this on your time, and you can be a boss babe and do all this stuff. It hooks them. It's something like one of the lines in the first episode that the guy who ran this, which obviously ended up being a scam, and all of these people who were not qualified to run a big company, were in charge of running a big company, was like, the most underutilized resource in America is stay-at-home mothers, because they are smart, capable women that are not being used in the business world. And we need to find a way to utilize that. And so they did with this company, and then it all goes to shit. And I can't wait to watch the rest of it. But you and I have talked a lot about the MLM structure, and like, who would think it's a good idea to spend thousands of dollars to ultimately have to buy this product and then sell it and then kick back up. It just logically doesn't make a lot of sense to someone like you and I. But watching this documentary, I think really kind of pulled back the curtain for me and made me understand, at least a little bit, why so many people are enticed by this idea. Okay, Steve, let's get to a review, shall we?
Let's do it.
This one is called Ceruti Gift Giving Solution, 5 stars. It says, day one, Shelly here. Ceruti, anything you buy for Maddie, she's going to love because she knows how much you care. I feel awful that you have past trauma from that not nice girlfriend in high school that said nothing but said everything about your generous gift by not even acknowledging it. She's a meanie. I'm sorry. What about a Louis Vuitton tote bag? Something Maddie could carry to and from work, and also not too big to carry day to day. I don't have one, but would die too. My friend has one, and they are timeless. Just the way they are crafted and the materials used, they feel like butter, unlike any other bag I've ever touched in real life. They're so classy, and they are noticed, but not in a loud way. Michelle was right about never going wrong with a timeless gift. Happy 3rd anniversary to you and Maddie.
Wow. First off, incredibly thoughtful. Thank you to this person. Do they work for Louis Vuitton? I feel like they just sold this on it. I did buy her a Louis wallet on our honeymoon, which I do like a lot. What's the checkered patterned one? That's the one we bought. It's like blue and cream. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not a bag person. That's the kind of like, I've actually brought that up to her. Like, would you want this? Like a bag like that, a tote? And she's like, no. So great idea, but she gave me a hard no. I mean, again, she's also told me she doesn't want me to get her anything, which I feel like is code, but she's super low maintenance. So it's actually not code, but I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you. You're right. If I did get her something, anything, she would be pumped about it and probably just, love it, even if she didn't actually love it. But It's the practicality that's I want to get something that is meaningful. I think what the solution is, we're going to figure something out when we go to Tulum. That's what we're going to do. We'll just buy it. We'll go somewhere. She sees something she likes, we'll buy it for her. That's going to be the solution.
Dealer's choice.
Yeah. And she's actually said she wanted that. And, we're all about efficiency here. And that's the most efficient way to do this. So here we are. Plus we're on vacation. Okay. So, we'll be all right.
She's naturally going to find something she likes in Tulum, but from my Tulum experience, it's going to be very expensive.
Yeah, but we haven't been on vacation in like a year plus, actually almost 2 years. So we're ready to ball out. It's a well-earned one.
I love this for you. I love free vacation, Steve and Maddie. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you to everyone for listening. Love this journey for you. Thank you to everyone for listening. Thank you, of course, to Murphy Lee for taking the time to join us. It was amazing to talk to Murph Dirty, one of our favorites. And Steve and I will not be back in action next week because Steve's going to be in Tulum. He's going to be on vacation. And this is kind of our schedule now. It's almost like every other week because we have very busy jobs and our jobs need to cut us some slack so that we can do this podcast more often. But until 2 weeks from now, as Murphy Lee says, I'm so St. Louis, ask my tattooist.
13-year-old me, super pumped.
Thanks for listening to Small Talk. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts or the Podcast One app.